Welcome back, everybody, to another shocking reality check episode of Lockdown 23 in 1. That's right, shocking it is. Today we're going to witness a teenager go into the courtroom to find out if he's guilty for murder and robbery. But first, I'm going to break down a little bit of the situation on how he even got to the courtroom to begin with. So let's get into it, ladies and gentlemen. If you're new to the channel and enjoy all things lockup and crime related, then this is absolutely where you need to be. Hit that like, subscribe, notification bell before you leave, and check out my beautifully assorted playlist with many more videos for you to start watching today. Alright, so unfortunately this story is going to be taking place in Florida once again. Traveling back to March 2024 in Cape Coral, 15-year-old Kayla Rankin Miller and two of her friends were walking home from the movie theater when an SUV pulled up and the passengers attempted to rob them, resulting in Kayla being shot in the chest. The group fled in the SUV and she was transported to Gulf Coast Medical Center where she passed away. Now, the SUV happened to have been a rental car, and it was traced back to the mother of Thomas Stein, and he was later identified as the key suspect in the case, as well as Christopher Horn Jr., who was 16 at the time of the incident. During the trial, both Steen and Horn admitted to planning to rob people that night, but they gave conflicting accounts on who actually shot Kayla.
Did you shoot and kill Kayla Rankin Miller?
No, sir.
And what his co-defendant, Christopher Horn Jr., told the jury that Stein shot Kayla Rankin Miller in a robbery gone wrong.
Why did the gun jam?
Because he shot.
Thomas Stein told you a lot about that night and tried to paint himself as an attempted hero that night.
Horn testified that Stein was a shooter, while Stein claimed that he was trying to break up an altercation and that the gun went off. Both of these guys, if you were to ask me, are menaces to society. But this just goes to show you, friends or not, birds of the same feather flock together doesn't mean they're going to be telling the same story together when they're facing life in prison, right? One guy's now saying that the other guy shot the girl, and the other guy's saying something otherwise. The co-defendant, Christopher Horn Jr., who was 16 at the time of the incident, took a plea deal for second-degree murder and testified against Stein. And that plea deal was for 25 years in prison. But like I said, we're going to jump into the courtroom today because old Stein decided to go all the way through jury trial, and we're going to find out exactly if they think he's guilty or not. And look, before we move forward with that, my condolences go out to Kayla's family, man, and anyone affected by this situation. It's tragic. You don't think anything could possibly happen to your daughter, especially when she's walking with her friends from an area that I was just at, and it didn't seem too dangerous to me. I've seen way worse, right? I can't imagine something like this unfolding. Very, very sad, tragic situation. Alright, Bobo, it's time to crank up that 3.2 double barrel smoke canister. If I were to guess, homeboy's gonna need a new edge up.
Alright, the court finds that the verdict form has been filled out and dated and signed by the foreperson. I will give it to the clerk to publish the verdict.
In the Circuit Court of the 20th Judicial Circuit in Lee County, Florida, criminal action. State of Florida versus Thomas Stein, case number 24 CF 000272. Verdict.
Just imagine his heart's probably beeping Kool-Aid right now. He might not be showing it, but under that suit, if I were to guess, he's sweating like a big gulp in the summer heat. The early morning fog and smoke is slowly starting to rise. Is it gonna fade away or blot out the sun?
Count 1. First-degree felony murder. The defendant is guilty of first-degree felony murder. Count 2. Attempted robbery. Kayla Christina Rankin Miller. The defendant is guilty of attempted robbery with a firearm.
That's the smell of your whole life disappearing.
Count 3. Attempted robbery. Luann DeJay. The defendant is guilty of attempted robbery with a firearm. Count 4. Attempted robbery. Emma Wright. The defendant is guilty of attempted robbery with a firearm. So say we all, dated May 4th, 2026, foreperson. In the Circuit Court of the 20th Judicial Circuit, Lee County, Florida, criminal action.
Done for.
State of Florida versus Thomas Stein. Case number 24 CF 000272. Special findings as to first-degree felony murder. Unanimously find beyond a reasonable doubt that during the commission of the crime, the defendant discharged a firearm. No.
No.
Do you unanimously find beyond a reasonable doubt that during the commission of the crime, the defendant discharged a firearm and in doing so caused the death of Kayla Christina Rincon Miller? No. So say we all, dated May 4th, 2026, foreperson.
And believe it or not, all those statements that were just read are going to play a big factor when it comes down to sentencing. I still think he's going to get more time than his co-defendant, possibly a life sentence. All that for a little bit of cash that they didn't even get. A whole life was taken. Man, this dude deserves every last drip and drop he gets.
In the Circuit Court of the 20th Judicial Circuit in Fort Lee County, Florida, criminal action. State of Florida versus Thomas Stein. Case number 24 CF 000272. Special findings as to count 2, attempted robbery, Kayla Christina Rincon Miller. If you found the defendant guilty of attempted robbery, you must then answer the following question.
Yeah, Bobo,
Do
layer
you
it
unanimously
on.
find beyond a reasonable doubt
Layer it
that
on.
during the commission of the crime, the defendant actually possessed a firearm? Yes. So say we all, dated May 4th, 2026, foreperson.
We do Monday, August 3rd at 1:30.
I'm out that week.
Okay.
And this is what they call tunnel vision. You know, when you're staring off, nothing's really registering except for the future and what's coming your way in that damn penitentiary. And I can almost guarantee if he goes into some kind of GP unit, general population, and the inmates find out that he killed a young girl, man, in Florida, he's as good as toast. But Thomas Stein was convicted of first-degree felony murder and attempted robbery. He's scheduled to be sentenced on July 10th, 2026 at 9 a.m. Hopefully it hits the YouTube land, man. We gotta react to that one. But listen to this, it's called principal theory. While some testimony and reports suggest that Stein was the driver rather than the shooter, he was convicted under a principal theory, meaning that the jury found him responsible for participating in the robbery that led to the murder. Keyword, participating. This is one of the many situations I speak about all the time, man. You get caught up, you know, someone gets killed, even though you might not have pulled the trigger, you're just a driver or something, and you're going to be paying the price for it. So think about all that before you tie yourself into any kind of equation. Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, a little bit of tunnel vision before you start your Cinco de Mayo. I don't know if you need any extra of that before the night's over. You're gonna be spinning all over the place, man. I recommend you watch this before the activities. I'm just playing, but one thing for real I'm not playing about. Drive safe, man. Get yourself a damn Uber. If you can't afford one, go ahead and start walking. Lay down in the dirt, take a nap, do something, man. Don't get in no damn car inebriated, right? And look, don't ever forget that friends don't let friends drive drunk. Until the next time, though, as always, y'all be easy, be safe, and stay free.